Hello and welcome to another episode of Teacher's Corner. I'm Teacher Kirby, and first things first, remember if you like what you see, click that like and subscribe button. Also ring that bell so you're notified when I make a new video. If you would like to support Teacher's Corner, please consider becoming a patron. The link for that is coming up in the top right hand corner of this video right about now. And also consider clicking that join button on my YouTube channel page. Alright, without any further ado, and this time we are going over the Omega ground gear. The Omega reputation has a lot to it. It's extremely large, and so I felt the need to break it up into two videos. If you would like to see the initial overview and the space gear, I'll be putting a link to that video at the end of this one, so consider that. Alright, now without any further ado, okay, so Omega ground gear, and this will be all about ground. So when you first do it, and I've unlocked all 6 tiers here, so when you first do it, of course, there's the costumes that you've unlocked throughout the way, and these do have, let's see, these do of course require just Omega marks, it looks like, to fill them. I'm going to destroy that. Okay, so here they are. Hello. Alright, so, and of course there are There are 4 different costume styles that you can choose from, and so I'm not going to go over those so much because they are just costumes. It has to do with looks. If you want to look differently, feel free to check those out. So for the actual gear, there's the Omega set, which is available to, and this is kind of like space, there's the Omega set, which is available to all factions regardless of allegiance. And then there's the allegiance specific or faction specific gear, and that if you're Starfleet, that's Mako and adapted Mako. If you're KDF, that's Honor Guard and adapted Honor Guard. Again, this was the first reputation. They did things kind of wonky. Adapted Mako for Starfleet is the same as Honor Guard for KDF. Adapted Honor Guard for KDF is the same as Mako for Starfleet. Yeah. Okay. Without any further ado, so I'm looking here at the adapted Mako personal set. Okay. And this is, alright, so this does have set bonuses and whatnot with it. Now remember, the adapted Mako set is the same as the Honor Guard set for KDF. Okay, so we get a physical damage resistance rating, kinetic damage resistance rating from the armor, 7 energy damage resistance rating. If you've got the bonus, it gives you Mark 13 Ultra Rare and everything. It will come with a toxic damage resistance rating. If not, you'll know you'll get that when you upgrade to Mark 13 Ultra Rare. Plus you get an amount of hit points, health regeneration, and when receiving damage you have a 10% chance to heal an amount of hit points to self and team. That may be one of my skills, because that doesn't sound right. Okay. And we also have the Disruptor Pulse Wave Rifle. This is adapted Mako. And this does disruptor damage, plus a 50% chance to repel, 5% chance to add damage resistance debuff to your enemies, and 15 kinetic damage versus Borg. Okay, as well as some critical chance, and that was added as the proc. Okay, and then we have the personal shield, and that has some root resistance rating, some knockback resistance rating, and of course shield capacity, and rapidly regenerates. And when receiving damage, 5% chance to return 150% of incoming damage to the attacker. And there you go. Now we're on to set bonuses. So this has a 2-piece set bonus called Adrenal Booster, which is actually pretty interesting. I like it. And then a 3-piece set bonus called Blood of the Warrior, as well as the Integral Frequency Remodulation. Alright. Now this was the adapted Mako. There's my notes. Okay. And the 2-piece set bonus, the Adrenal Booster, and that gives you, it's a 45-second recharge. Basically, it's like a hypo spray, but it's like a hypo spray that never gets used up. So it's an infinite hypo spray. It has a recharge 45 seconds, and it also gives you plus 40% physical melee damage for 5 seconds, and removes hold and stuns. So it's like a hypo spray. It gives you a whole bunch of extra health real quick, but it also gives you a whole bunch of extra physical melee damage. So if you have a tune that does melee, or you want to hit somebody, that would be the time right after you use it. And it removes holds and stuns. The 3-piece set bonus, and there's 2 of them here. We'll talk about Blood of the Warrior first. So this is a passive. So Blood of the Warrior gives you plus 2.5% bonus all damage. Okay? That means it's what we call category 2 damage. It's really good if you like category 2. Okay? It also gives you a bonus to damage that increases as you take damage. Okay? And a plus 2% critical chance, plus 20% crit severity. Now this is an exceptionally good bonus, believe it or not, because it gives you an amount of not only category 2 bonus damage, but it gives you critical chance and crit severity. So this actually isn't terrible as a bonus. And then we have the Integral Frequency Remodulator. Now this is only good if you fight Borg, a lot of Borg, because this is only useful when you're fighting the Borg. Now this has a 10-second recharge, instantly overcomes Borg adaptation, prepares next remodulation as a background process that requires 15 seconds to recharge. So basically you still have to activate it, but it recharges faster than your normal frequency remodulator would. And it's integrated into the set, so you don't have to take up another inventory slot for something. Alright, so that is the adapted Mako. Again, if you are KDF, this is the same as the Honor Guard set, so something to Think about there. Alright. Next on is the Mako set. Now this for KDF characters, this would be the Adapted Honor Guard set. Alright, so we have for our armor, we have physical damage resistance, kinetic damage resistance, energy damage resistance, and toxic damage resistance. Maximum hit points, gives you an amount of hit points, and shield regen, extra shield regen when receiving damage, blah blah blah. Okay. Sorry for that brief interruption there. My phone rang, had to take it. Okay, so we had just finished talking about the Mako personal armor. Alright, and now we have the Mako Disruptor Battle Rifle, and this has disruptor damage, and it is a sniper rifle, so it has a sniper attack for its secondary. And because it is disruptor, there is a 5% chance to give minus 20 all damage resistance rating for 10 seconds to your enemies, and 15 kinetic damage versus Borg as well. Alright, and and because of the mods on it, also a 2% critical chance. Alright, and for the personal shield, it is a resilient personal shield. It has plus 35 root resistance rating, plus 35 knockback resistance rating, 342.6 maximum shield capacity. This will be affected by some of your stats for the ground. Also 10% bleed through, and rapidly regenerates after not taking damage for 3 seconds. 2 seconds if crouched. Excuse me here. It also reduces all energy damage to shields by 10% when receiving all damage. 5% chance of applying spectrum overload for 8 seconds. And that's a melee range stun effect centered on you and your teammates. And there we go. Alright, and then we have, of course, the set bonuses. And just a reminder, the Mako set is the same thing as the Adapted Honor Guard set for KDF. And for the Mako set, the ground set bonuses, we have the Emergency Shield Capacitor, and that it has a 45-second recharge. It fixes shield offline debuffs for 5 seconds, has a huge amount, almost 1,000 shield regeneration for 5 seconds, and 18% shield resistance for 5 seconds, and protects against teleport effects for 6 seconds. The 3-piece set bonus is the Tactical Readiness Network, and this is not the same as Tactical Readiness from the Honor Guard set in space. It is passive. It affects friends and self, and it gives you plus 10 all damage resistance rating, plus 50 slow resistance rating, plus 50 confuse resistance rating. So this means it protects you from just all damage. It protects you from anything that slows you down, anything that confuses you. And then when allies receive all damage, 2% chance of applying 8-second expose to damage owner. So if your allies receive damage, there's a 2% chance of applying a expose effect to whoever got the damage. Alright, and then of course we have the integral frequency remodulator, which is the same as it is for the adapted Mako set. So basically it's a built-in frequency remodulator for when you are fighting the Borg. Alright, and now, without any further ado, that's the Mako set, also known as the Adaptive Honor Guard set for KDF. And now we have the Omega set, and this one is available to both factions, so it's available to everybody regardless of your faction. And this one has the Omega Force armor, which gives moderate amount of physical damage resistance rating, kinetic damage resistance, 5% plus 5% energy damage, moderate amount of energy damage resistance, maximum hit points, as all of them do, plus it gives 2.5% crit chance, 20% crit severity, and some root resistance rating, some knockback resistance rating. Okay, and then we have the personal shield, which gives us dodge chance, root resistance rating, knockback resistance rating, has a maximum shield capacity, as they all do, 10% bleed through, rapidly regenerates after not taking damage for 3 seconds. When receiving all damage, 5% chance of applying energy redirection for 8 seconds. Applies a 5-second buff to you and your teammates that will expose the next enemy that fires at you. Okay? And then we have the personal auto carbine. Okay, this has a full auto sweep as the secondary. That is an exposed attack, and it does Tetrion damage. Alright, and it has a 15 kinetic damage versus the Borg. Also has, that's not baked in, okay. Also has baked in a 15, nope, it's not baked in. That is our T3, okay. Alrighty, and then the set bonuses for this are, find my notes here for it, there we are. Set bonuses are Distortion Field, which has a 45-second recharge, targets yourself, and is plus 100 all energy damage resistance rating. Oh, that was a good sneeze. Okay, plus 100 all energy damage resistance rating for 10 seconds, plus 350 stealth for 10 seconds. So basically this is kind of like a ground cloak. And then we have the 3-piece bonus, which is the Team Ambush Field. Affects friend and self, and that has a 15.1 dodge to self and allies, 2.5 crit chance, and that might mean 25% crit severity. It's unusual to see 2.5 crit severity. And then of course we have the Integral Frequency Remodulator. Okay, so that is the ground sets that you get from the Omega Reputation. And of course we have the Anti-Proton as the alternate energy type for Omega. And I did forget about that. The, what is it? Phaser. No, Phaser's not alternate. Disruptor as the alternate for the Mako, and for the adapted Mako we have Disruptor and phaser as the two types. There we go. Alright, so there you go with our ground gear for Task Force Omega. Further, or the next or subsequent reputations don't have as much division in them. They have only one set for the for the reputation in total, so you don't have this division that the Omega reputation has, which I found interesting, that the Omega always had it. It was always chock full of things, and I'm kind of glad they toned it down with subsequent reputations. So subsequent reputations will only be one video instead of two. But I hope you learned something, and I will see you next time.